Yo, what's happening, everybody? Michael here. Welcome back to a special live episode of Technoid. Ladies and gentlemen, it is great to be back live. As always, it is a privilege. It is an honor. It is great to entertain you all once again. It is great to see you guys. Now, tonight's episode, we've got a special one, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the internet community, we have a trifecto. A not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, six trifecto. Okay, that's maybe wrong English. Who cares? I was trying to do LeBron James. But anyway, we got a perfect lineup tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I am thrilled and honored to bring tonight a nice, diverse panel of guests and other featured artists that are on the platform who bring their own flair, that bring their own passion, but most of all, some familiar faces that you guys have seen since the beginning of the Technoid channel. Back in my old roots. And I am thrilled and honored to bring them all in tonight, and I am thrilled and honored to have them all with me as well. So without further ado, let us bring in. So our first guest is a returning member. It's his second live stream back on the channel. He is the man of the hour, the man with sunglasses, man with funky neon lights, which I gotta learn myself. I actually am digging that setup. He is returning for his second consecutive live stream on the podcast. I am thrilled and honored to have the man called Siova. Siova, welcome back.
Yeah.
There we go. We got that echo of vibe. We got a DJ set up and good. We got the blue, purple lights. I love it, man. I love it. And I'm seeing, I can't tell if that's Ray-Bans or I don't know if that's Ray-Bans, but I'm telling you. Let me see there. Focusing in. Smart, my man. Well, give me just one sec, Siova. But real quick, it is great to have you on, my man. You are a welcomed addition. Just going. Hold on one second. We just got a quick audio delay here. Hold on. Can you believe this is Apple's solution to everything? Use Lightning as your audio source. Get out of here.
Okay, that's how they work, man.
Alrighty, how about now? We good now?
Yeah, we good.
All right, there we go. Alrighty, sorry about that, guys. But anyway, Siova, it is great to have you on. It is great, it's a pleasure. But now we got two other people waiting backstage. I can't take up too much time. Returning for his how many other live streams he's done with me. This man has been there since the beginning. He's been there since the good old days of Roku streaming and watching videos and vibing and chilling. It was a great ride, and I am thrilled to have the OG Alpha, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, not Alpha, Rakam. He is going by a new name. We're going to have him introduce everything, but I am thrilled. I am pleasured and honored to have this man returning, and it is great to see him again. Alpha is back, ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on?
Hey, what's up, y'all? Your boy A-Rock in the building. Hey, once again, and just I appreciate Technoid for having me out.
We always love having you on tonight, my man. And the last, but certainly not least, a brother from another mother who I had the pleasure and honor of doing a nice collaboration for the Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pros. I had him on my channel previously, and that's what started this new partnership, and we have been great. He is a great person to talk to, great videos, great overall perception of other products and other information. And guys, I am thrilled to have him back. I believe this is his second live stream on my show, and I am thrilled and honored to bring back the return of Galen's Gadgets. What is up?
I'm good. How you doing?
It's great to see you, my friend. It is great to see all of you tonight. Now, real quick, there will be other guests coming in, depending on the timing, depending on how we go. But as of now, you guys are the trifecto, and I am thrilled and honored to have each and every one of you. And I just got to say that neon vibe going on right there is exactly what I love. That pink neon with purple. I'm loving it, Galen. I love it.
I appreciate it, man. I'm trying hard.
And no disrespect over to my other two. We got the disco lights going on in the background with Siova. And we got an arcade. We got an arcade setup going on back there. What is that? Basketball? What is that? Street Fighter?
Yes, Arch Rivals. Back in the day, the arcade Arch Rivals.
There we go. Nah,
I'm
I
running
knew I
low on
was
some.
on.
I'm running low on some G fuel, so I'm gonna have to hit up Rogue Energy.
Ah, smart man. You need that. You need that rogue energy. All of you. You know, we could all use a little toast of goodness. Yes, yes. I am referring to Rogue Energy, guys. That is the latest of my partnership for the Technoid channel. I again cannot urge it enough. Check out Rogue Energy, boys and girls. I will pull it up real quick here. If you guys are looking for a healthy alternative energy source without all the unnatural crap, get yourself some Rogue Energy. They come in a variety of flavors. They also, I gotta tell you guys, they have now updated their shakers. They have updated their logo. They have updated everything. So everything you see right here is the version 3.0. I'm going to tell you guys my personal favorites: blue raspberry, dragon fruit mango, and I'm telling y'all, you cannot hit me with that green apple because that stuff is delicious.
Hold on, it's dragon fruit and mango. I thought it was just dragon fruit.
Dragon fruit mango, it's a
Wow,
combination.
I thought it was just dragon fruit. Yeah, I was actually going to buy the dragon fruit. Yeah, actually, I'm going to cop that one.
Cop it, dude. It is delicious. It is a juice. And I normally don't like to push merchandise on my channel, but guys, Rogue is the real deal. So get yourself some Rogue right now. Link in the description, or you're looking at the pop-up. Get some rogueenergy.com. Use promo code Technoid, save 10% off. And thank you all that have used my code, as every support goes towards the channel.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, now that we've got that out of the way, let's start this show. So ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are going to focus on the main topic, WWDC. Now, I have covered WWDC for many years now, and it bores me. It bores me covering it because I do it alone. So I figured, you know what? Let's get 3 other people involved, plus more, and let's talk about it. Let's have a good time with it. Because WWDC is not for the bold-hearted. It is not for the adventurous. This is for the software developers, myself, because, of course, I took 2 semesters worth of coding, Xcode and others. But it is interesting to note that this year's WWDC, there is a little bit more extra hype towards this one than I've seen in recent years. So we're going to talk about WWDC, but we're not going to do a prediction like everybody's thinking. Instead, we're going to predict some features and things that we would like to see in WWDC for a particular software. So we'll start down the line. We'll start with the iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple TV, Apple Watch, and then, of course, any other product that we're probably missing, like HomePod OS or whatever. So we're going to go through the full library. So without further ado, let's take a look at it. So WWDC, this is the first thing you see on Apple's website. Glow and behold is the new sign. They're really trying to push emoji, and it's just not working for me. I'm sorry. It's just not working for me. You can try as hard as you want. Nope, not a fan. But they did say that this new developers conference will be from the 7th to the 11th. It is, again, digital, which is probably one of the smartest things tech companies have been doing since the pandemic, because they have made some high-quality live streams, and it honestly feels nice kicking it back at home, and I don't have to hear a fan or two go, woo, for some weird crap you're never going to care about. But anyway, that's just me.
Hold for applause.
Hold for applause, exactly. But WWDC this year has a little bit more hype, though, because a lot more people are interested with the ARM-based Macs. This will be their first cycle of software updates, and a lot more people are also interested in a redesign because of Big Sur from last year. So, gentlemen, we're going to start it up. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is the iPhone. Now, I have been on record saying that, I love Android. I have loved everything about Android. I think it's customizable. It's excellent. But with that said, though, there's just something about iOS that, for me, it just cannot be beat. There's something about it. However, though, I will not lie. iOS 14 has been a nice revamp of iOS. And while it does have some good incremental updates in certain areas, it still is lacking in a lot of areas. So here's how we're going to start this. We're going to start with the biggest Apple fan here. So raise your hand if you're the biggest Apple fan. And be honest. Nobody gets mad. Nobody gets hurt.
No,
Nobody. Okay, so we got to go a notch below. We got to get it, notch below. So now who is a mid Apple fan? Like around the middle.
I mean, I guess I could probably consider myself mid. I mean, I prefer Android, but I do appreciate the things that Apple does bring to the ecosystem.
Okay, that's fair. So, Alpha, I'll let you go first then. You'll break the ice for all of us. But I will say, can we all agree though? Let's make sure everybody knows. Android is definitely better with customization, better than iOS with
No competition.
No competition. But with that said, though, there is something about iOS that, a lot more people like myself are attracted to. So, Alpha, you'll start, then Siova, and then Galen will go on to you. So, my first question of the night is, with iOS 15, what is Apple going to do with the platform? Are we going to see a redesign that they've been promising for years? Or better yet, what do you think they're going to do, or what direction are they going to head with iOS 15? You can go.
Yeah, I guess I'll head it off. So iOS 14, I do like the changes that they made. I don't know if it's going to be a complete overhaul. I think they're going to build on top of this. I think they're at that phase like where Android was with like Marshmallow, and you had those, layers of, certain parts of the menu. You had all these layers. I think this is kind of the foundation for what they want. But I think they still kind of need to improve that app library, because you do have to go all the way to the right to get to it. I mean, it's like it's like a battle between having, okay, you want to have all your screens, and then you also you want to be able to access the rest of the apps and the app library that you don't want to have on your screen. So you're always kind of forced to go like maybe 3-4 pages over however many pages that you have of apps on your home screen just to get there. I mean, I am grateful for the option that they do give you, that you can hide certain screens, but the screens that you want to hide probably are going to be ones that you want to use again. So I still think there's some clunkiness to that whole app library setup. But with iOS 15, I do hope they clean that up a little bit. But from one thing I've kind of seen, there was like a report by Mark, I think is his name, Gernston from Bloomberg. He says that they're going to change the lock screen. They're going to change some notifications and some privacy settings. So I think it's probably going to be a heavy emphasis on these notifications, because supposedly they're supposed to be working on having notifications where you can like basically have like an auto reply set up. So if you're
reply to emails and text messages,
like if you're working or something like that, or you're driving, it's supposed to hit you with like some auto reply, which is going to be nice. I think it's going to be useful. I mean, but it has to be very, very on. It has to be a very timely thing though. Like if it's like hit or miss, that could make this like a gimmick. But it has to be like I said, it's got to be on point, like for them to like be able to like
absolutely
push this thing out there and market it and hype it up for everybody to use. But I do think they're going to put a big emphasis on that for like at least for the phones. I guess the phones and the iPads. I also heard a rumor that iPads are supposed to be able to use those widgets that they introduced in iOS 14. You're supposed to be able to put them anywhere on the screen now. So, and that's also kind of a limitation with iOS 14 on the iPhone, is that you can put your widgets in certain places, but you can't really put them where you want to.
Right.
So, and then also I would like to see more support, but I understand, like, since that was a new thing that they implemented within a year, within the last year, I don't expect all the developers to like jump on board just yet. So it's going to take time for like the widgets to kind of mature and have, more support from more developers. But I think they're going in the right direction with iOS 14 and then transitioning into 15. So those are kind of my quick thoughts. I know I was like the sacrificial lamb to start talking about iOS 15.
Nah, you know what? It's like lamb to the slaughter. But it's good that you broke the ice. And I also am thrilled we have one more guest backstage. And also apologies about that, guys, earlier. Just have to take some care of something real quick. I thought something bad had happened, but everything's okay.
It's your show, baby. Go ahead, do your thing.
Hey, come on now. But we are happy to announce we have a new member in the live stream. He is actually an OG. He is not a new live streamer. He is the OG of the Technoid channel. Blue Eyed Tech.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Whoa, is that a beard? A long time. Long time.
Grew it out. Pandemic hit, and I just figured, I don't know, grow a beard.
Shalom.
Seems like everybody else grew it out. Why not?
What's going on?
Shalom. How are you?
Doing great. How about yourself?
I'm all right, my man. But anyway, so I know you're on limited time, so I'm actually going to skip my turn and I'm going to let you go. I don't know if you've been watching and hearing, but the question was, what would you like to see Apple go in the route with iOS 15? Alpha had made some very fair points, and I actually tend to agree with some things that he said, but I do have a slightly different take, but I'm going to save that for the end. So I want you to go ahead because I know you're limited on time, so you could go right ahead.
Yeah, well, I would like I don't know, with the iPhone, I don't know. I just like to be a little more stability because there's sometimes I will stream things from all remote different devices, like with my gaming console or something like that, though, and it's just the connection seems to be very off. I like to be a little more seamless kind of connections between all my devices. I don't know if that makes any sense or not, though, but it just seems like the software, while I do enjoy the software, and I do think iOS, in my personal opinion, is actually my go-to phone. I love my iPhone, but I'd like there to be a little bit more stability in the software.
Of course, that's fair. I would say you're probably the bigger Apple fan out of all of us here. Yeah. And that's nothing to be ashamed of. Nobody here is going to insult you. Nobody here. I won't lie to you. I use everything Apple, so I could probably be classified. But I'm obviously not, crazy. But I'm not saying you're that either. So that's fair. If you believe more stability is needed, that's a very fair point. A quick follow up is, with the added changes that iOS 14 brought with widgets, FaceTime outside the screen, things that kind of we had wanted for a while and they finally delivered, do you still see room for Apple to improve on more features, especially on the customization aspect?
Oh, most definitely. I think when it comes to, now, granted, while I'm an Apple fan, I don't consider myself a fanboy, because while I love pretty much almost all Apple products, but I will acknowledge when there's faults. I do think, well, I'm glad that we do have widgets on the iPhone devices and iPads and so on and so forth. I will admit that Android actually does do widgets better. I've actually had an Android device for a short amount of time, though, but in that short amount of time I had it, they just did the widgets better than they do on iPhone. Now, am I glad that we have widgets on iPhone? Of course, but there's still definitely a lot of room for improvement with those widgets. Not to mention we're also limited on what apps do have widgets and which ones don't.
Absolutely, 100% agree with that. And last question to you, and then I'm going to pass it on to Galen. Silva, I'm gonna save you for last because you're the best one. But between the two of us, I'm not going, before you. But I'm not saying anything. But anyway, listen, I'm a terrible host tonight. I'm terrible. I'm stuttering.
Do your thing, man. It's your
but
show,
my last question is to you, Blue Eyed, is the how would I say support with the whole new generation of iPhones coming in the wing, and then obviously past generation iPhones. Apple has made it clear that they plan on keeping their phones updated long term. What phones do you think are not going to be supported with iOS 15? If you had to predict, I think we kind of have an idea, but what would you think?
Yeah, I'm trying to think now on the top of my head. I'm trying to think how far back they're going with the support right now.
Here, we can take a look. I can pull it up here at the bottom of the page. Give me 1 second, guys. You can see Apple really goes all out on it. It's like they just posted the keynote. That's really it. All right, here we go.
That's actually what it looks like.
Yeah. So we have here, we got iPhone SE, first generation, iPhone 6S Plus, 6S, 7, 7 Plus, 8, 8 Plus, 10, and then from there. So the real devices to focus on are really here, these devices. Definitely.
I think as far on the iPhone front, the 6 phones I'm going to say are gone. I'd be surprised if they still stuck around. 7s, I'm going to lead still to say that they're going to be gone to, I think 8. I think we're going to still stick. I think we're going to see 8 and up stick around. Anything below the iPhone 8 is going to probably not receive the update.
Wow.
Come forward. That's what I think. I don't know. They stay. I know they do keep around for a while though, but I think the 7, especially with the 6, I just don't think is going to be there.
Okay. All right, that's a fair analogy. I kind of agree with that. So yeah, Jay, I'm gonna pass it now to Silva. So I know again you did say you were limited on time, and I know that you are probably gonna leave soon or not, whatever. So if you could stick around and wait till we have some more stuff to talk about, you could definitely. But if you have to leave, I appreciate you coming on for the minutes that you are, and we will get you back on for a longer edition. But again, thank you for your input. Appreciate it, man. Now let's pass it on to CEO Galen's. I'm sorry, Galen's
Yeah,
first.
yep.
So Galen, go ahead. What do you think?
I think iOS can improve in a lot of things in iOS 15, but the main things I think is like the settings menu that's been absolutely hideous and cluttered for years. It's really surprising like they haven't like fixed that by now. Like it's so hard to find like basic things in iOS settings, in my opinion, anyway, in my experience with iOS.
Absolutely.
And another thing, I think they need to like again more widget support. That's not really an Apple thing, but I'd love to see like more companies offer different widgets. Like I have an iPad and just configuring widgets with like simple things like photos. Since I use Google Photos doesn't have like a legit widget yet, so I had to use like a third party widget maker, and just a hassle in that regard. Another thing I want to see like Apple like offer more default apps. So like being able to use like Spotify, like I feel like more people use Spotify than Apple Music. So being able to put Spotify over Apple Music as your default app would be good. And then I hate Siri, so I hope she gets as good as Google Assistant one day.
I always thought Siri was better than Google Assistant.
Wow.
Really?
That's
Wow.
I mean that's my perception.
Google-
I don't use Assistant. I don't use the only way I use the Assistant is to set an alarm and to set a timer. Also, or to ask the weather. That's literally all I use it for.
Yeah,
I guess you should have went first as the Apple fan. Then you know that.
Oh
case.
no, I'm not an. Oh no, do not get it twisted. I am the least Apple fan of anybody that is on this show right now. I just always assume that Siri performed better than Google Assistant because I never really heard people heap praise on Google Assistant, but I always heard people talk about Siri.
and give it a day. I'm telling you.
Give
I
it a
mean,
day. Okay.
Just give it a day. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. It's
I
not
mean,
close.
as close as you're gonna get to using the Google Assistant on iOS. There's I don't know if y'all follow Tana Does Tech, but he did a video like maybe I want to say a year ago where you can like tag, you can kind of somehow have the Google Assistant paired up with Siri. I mean, you start off with Siri and then you say, you know, the OKG, and then you basically can, you know, voice call the Google Assistant from your iPhone.
Right. Yeah, I did see that setting because that's one of the first things I downloaded when I got my iPad was the Google Assistant app.
I'm sorry. Are you? I didn't mean to cut you off. Are you still Are you still giving your opinion on the software? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No problem, no problem. But yeah, that's basically it. I think the settings menu, that's the major thing for me. I want Siri to get better and more widget support, and then being able to change like more system apps to default apps like music and things like that. I think iOS 14, you were able to like use Chrome as your default now over the Safari, but eventually I want to see more apps or more features be you're able to change the default as well.
Very good points. I've been hearing you guys. And also apologies once again, guys. I will be stepping in and out. If in the event, though, that I have to leave the show, I'm just going to put it out there right now. One of y'all is going to be the host. So y'all can if this is because just something going on right now. I'm just trying to, back and forth. But anyway, Galen, one question I had for you real quick. You mentioned default. You mentioned default browser, default music. Now, while the default music isn't as precise with default like the browser, there is still room for improvement. So, what do you think Apple would do if iOS 15 comes out and they expand on default music media player or default video player, whatever? How do you see them rolling out the support?
I think it would be like similar to what Android does. As long as they like know it's a media playing app, then you should be able to like make it your default. That's how they should do it anyway. So yeah, any music player should be able to be changed, hopefully, like with the later update.
Of course, absolutely, I agree. Anything else?
Not off the top of my head. Do you have any more questions?
Not right now, but we got a little bit more coming, so we
Okay.
definitely want to keep you fresh and tuned.
No
So yeah, Siova, I heard you a little bit. Anything else?
Okay, so as the least Apple person on this podcast, I will say the one thing that I would love to see from Apple is some in-depth customization and, like Galen said, doing anything different with that settings menu. So my dad has an SC, and it is a pain doing anything in the settings menu. One, I don't use Apple. Two, it is very convoluted and confusing with how they have the settings menu set up. Now, is Apple saying that 15 is going to be a huge revamp of the of the iOS? Because if they're not saying that, then I'm just going to assume that it's going to be little minute changes that they do that's like quality of life changes for certain people. Like there's the group of people that might want a little bit of adjustments to the widgets, or some people who actually use Siri and want to fix on Siri. But my thing with Apple is that I want them to introduce the form of customization that would convince me, an Android person, to actually use an iPhone as a daily driver. So for me right now, two Android phones are still better than one Android phone and one iPhone.
That is a very, very good point. And you know what? Everybody here that discussed iOS 15, you all brought some very interesting perspectives. And so I'm not really going to waste a lot of time. I'm just going to skip right to it. I still think they are behind on Android. We all know that. They've been behind for so many years, but they're gradually getting their way up. They are gradually making some progress. For me, the biggest thing that I would like to see would have to be the redesign. Now, I'm not looking for an over rehaul. I'm looking more for like continuity with Mac OS Big Sur, because the skewer morphism design is back in a slight tweak, and I would like to see that be brought back to the iPhone. And I would like to see some widgets and other things expanded, because I do believe that even though iOS is bread and butter for Apple because it works, it just works, bringing the skewer morphism design back would be a very nice experience. And considering Apple took it away with iOS 7, it would be 7 years, 8 years later, you bring it back in a slight tweaked design based off of Big Sur. I think it would help with continuity. That would also go for iPad OS. So I'm just going to spoil that right away so I don't have to talk about it. But I would like to see the widgets explored a little more. I would like to see them open it up to more third parties. I think they've done a pretty good job, but I still think they have to kind of like open the SDK kind of platform, if that makes any sense, guys.
Yeah,
because
open
I know
SDK for more developers. Yeah,
for more developers, the SDK. But the last thing, and then we're going to move on to iPad OS because we're half hour in, is really just keeping the iOS interface smooth. I really think that that's a major player for them. So that's where I stand on iOS, and I cannot wait to see what they do with iOS 15. I am excited. I hope they get some good wallpapers in there because, you know, I do miss iOS 12 wallpaper, iOS 11 beachfront. I don't know. I'm weird like that. So, yeah.
No,
But with
sometimes
that,
those are OEM wallpapers is fire sometimes, man.
oh, yeah. I loved iOS 12s. I thought iOS 12 wallpaper was pretty good. Alrighty, next up, iPad OS. iPad OS. Oh boy, where do we begin with iPad OS? Okay. I think we can all agree that if there's a tablet on the market, 1 out of 2 people are probably going to go for the iPad. And the reason I say that is because the Android tablets have a rocky history with support depending on who makes them. There are multiple different manufacturers, but none of them have really come close to really getting that tablet vibe. It feels more just like Android on top of a tablet. Samsung's probably better, so I'd probably say Samsung's the second best. But most of all, Apple for years have just kind of really tweaked the iPad in so many ways, whether it be from the budget end to the more premium iPad Pro. Now, they just released a new iPad Pro with the M1 based chip. And I'm telling you guys, I see somebody shaking their head, so I got to hear this. I want to hear this. I want to hear it all. I'm open for a debate. But they just put the M1 chip into the iPad Pro, and I'm here to tell y'all. I'm here to tell you, boys and girls,
It's over.
It's a bad man coming into town, and its name is an iPad Pro. But I'm gonna say this: there is potential with the software. So I'm gonna let James. You could go first. What are you looking forward to with iPad OS? And now with the M1 series chip in iPad Pro, do you think they're going to refine the software to kind of keep it in line with the M1 to really kind of make, capability with the power?
You're muted.
Sorry about that, guys.
See, we all make that mistake. I thought I was on off mute.
No. What I was just saying there a second ago, as I definitely think they're going to revamp the software though, because you can't drop something like the M1 chip into the iPad and just walk away and do nothing else with it. I definitely think we're gonna definitely see something major with the new iPad Pros, and I just think the iPad in general is just a solid, like how you were just saying earlier when it comes to the Android tablets, how they don't really come close. That Samsung's probably maybe second to the iPads is because regardless if you're on the budget end or even on the iPad Pros, you're getting a solid experience across the board. It just depends on which model you want to get. But with the M1 chip they're putting into these iPad Pros, we're going to definitely see something major. Honestly, I would love to see something where I know they're never going to do it though, but me personally, I would love to see if they were ever able to actually put Mac OS onto being able to make it into like a tablet, like MacBook hybrid. But I don't think they're ever going to go that route.
Because that would hurt their laptops.
Definitely, they'd be eating their own. They'd be eating their own laptop saliva there, because then people will go towards that.
Yeah,
but being able to see it work side by side with the Macs would definitely be something I would like to see. I like being able to use Sidecar, like being able to have that continuity between my Mac and my iPad is nice, and I think we're going to see more of that with the M1 chip.
They do have screen mirroring. If you do have a MacBook, you can send off to your iPad. So they do have that option. Yeah. While it is a little bit buggy, I think they could work on it more to let you work with the keyboard and use your Apple Pencil and kind of things. Because I've used it a couple times, and I'm going to tell you guys the truth. It really needs a little bit of work. So I think the potential is there, like you said, but I think it does need some work. Who wants to go next?
How's the experience right now with the iPad and the pen that they have?
James, you can.
Honestly, I honestly
Galen's
don't.
got some. Look at Galen. Look at my man.
I'm gonna just let y'all talk because I got a rant. Go ahead.
Let me hear it.
Okay, so this is the 2020 12.9-inch iPad Pro.
It's a big boy.
So this may be like one of the biggest regrets like I've ever bought ever.
Is it because of the refresh?
It's 100% because of the refresh.
Damn.
The refresh rate? What's the refresh rate?
Well, no, not the refresh rate. I'm talking about the new iPad.
Okay.
100%. The M1 is just like gonna be crazy. So I've had this for around, I'd say, like 5 months now, and I absolutely love it. But just watching like the conference like a few weeks ago with the new iPad, it like completely, oh my god, like throwing it like this is like way more speed than I need, but throwing an M1 in it, they're saying it's 50% faster. That's gonna be crazy. And then eventually, like a lot of people like don't know this about the M1. But like when the M1 was first made, like the architecture that it's made at, it's like made to support both mobile and desktop apps. So
it'll be overkill. It'll be overkill when they put it. I'm sorry, Galen.
And then the new iPad also has Thunderbolt, so that's gonna offer like great external display support. Like I have some pretty nice monitors, and when I hook it into this thing, it just mirrors my iPad. That's like a limitation of iPad OS. But with Thunderbolt, it would actually be able to like be an extended display, so I could like do two different things on my tablet and my monitors. I'm really mad I bought this last year, just because I thought it's gonna be crazy, and I know like just iPad OS is just gonna be a complete game changer. Like they're marketing the iPad as a laptop replacement. Like they've been doing that since I want to say like the 2018 version, but adding the M1, that just like killed it for them. Like nobody's gonna touch it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Don't regret that purchase. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you think you got it bad, if you think you've got it bad, I've got
That's
here,
true. That's true.
I've got the 2018 iPad Pro, and I bought it in 2019 before they did the refresh.
Okay.
And I will tell you, it's still a fast piece of equipment. It's still a fast piece of equipment, and I'm not looking, to upgrade right away. But I will tell you, them iPads will last you, regardless of the chipset. They
That's
will
true.
last
That's
you.
true.
I think you got a good piece of hardware.
One, man, just if they drop Final Cut at their next conference, it's gonna be over.
That actually was going to be my question. That was actually very good that you brought that up, because that was my next question is, do you finally think they're going to cave and give a Final Cut Pro to the iPad OS now that you've added the hardware, the software is supposed to be more
That's actually
separated?
very interesting
They have to. They have to.
because that would
If they're
actually
marketing,
compensate for that power.
yeah, if they are marketing the M1 as like a chip that is able to like handle desktop and like mobile applications, they have to. They absolutely have to.
Because this new iPad Pro, I'm pulling up here, this is supposed to be a supercharged, new, revamped kind of design. And looking at the M1 chip, seeing how powerful this chip is, the software's got to match the performance. And I think Apple will also optimize it for their iPads as well. And I think for me, a redesign is probably the way to go. So I don't know where you guys, Alpha, what do you say?
As far as the whole M1 thing, like that was one of my first questions as far as whatchamacallit, Final Cut Pro, because you've got a lot of people who buy into that whole Mac OS system just for the whole purpose of just trying to render and edit videos. And so bringing that to the iPad OS, that would just be mind blowing. Granted, you've got people like who was it? It wasn't Dave 2D, but I forgot. Somebody else had did a video where they were just still using, I forgot what app that you already have to edit videos on the iPad, whatever native app. But
well,
they were still getting pretty fast render times on the iPad. This is maybe a year or two ago, and that wasn't even the M1 at the time. So imagine how
TechRant did a video like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what?
I think that was TechRant. TechRant was talking about editing on the iPad.
It wasn't TechRant. It was one of them people in like Team Crispy, not the people that show at MKBHD. What's the dude with the tats? He's like name. Filipino. Not, was it him or was it I think it was, like I said, it was one of them two dudes. It was either way, but still with the power of the M1 is definitely do things a lot faster. So it's just, I guess, the only thing that'll probably hold you back is because this is an even better environment now, just because ever since iOS 14, the iPad OS had actually started supporting the USB mice, so you can actually use a USB mouse as a cursor to click on things. So yeah, this is the right time for them to definitely dive right on into Final Cut Pro.
Yeah, I'm just curious to what type of software is going to be on these iPads, because I don't see why you would need an M1 chip for iMovie.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think it's going to be just iPad OS, but with like support of just desktop apps. Yeah. Like they won't go like the full Mac software, I don't think. I think they'll just like support like a few desktop apps that everyone is like asking for, like your Photoshop, your Final Cut Pro, things like that. Mainly creator
full
tools.
Desktop Photoshop on the iPad, man. Ooh,
man.
I don't even use iPad, and I know that's a game changer.
iPad is a game changer, I'm telling you guys.
I know.
With software, they definitely got to up it to match the power. I think that's where they're going. And, it's only a matter of time before they cave in with Final Cut, because Final Cut needs to happen, and it's got to happen soon.
What's the Pro price at?
$799. Same price as they've been priced. They didn't even up the price.
They didn't even up the price. That's the worst part about it.
That's close to the Mac Mini. Mac Mini is
true.
like what, $699?
$699.
Yeah, it's $799 for the 11-inch, $1099 for the 12.9. I
That's
believe.
actually a really good price point too.
That is $800 for an iPad Pro 11-inch. Yeah. I
And that's
paid.
starting at 128 gigs, right?
Yep, they no longer do
28
64.
gig Wi-Fi.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens at WWDC. I don't want to overhype it, but I will say it will be a failed opportunity if they don't take advantage of the power that the iPad is capable of now.
Yeah.
But speaking of power, there is one device that we all, I mean, whether we're going to admit this or not, and whether we like the design of it is debatable, but there's no denying. The Apple Watch has got to be probably, and then you guys can come at me in the comments, but it is probably the best wearable on the market for a smartphone. Now, I know there are some debatable things with that statement, but if you guys don't believe me, just look at what Apple did with watchOS 7 and the hardware of the Series 6, which, by the way, I just got my Series 6. It actually died just now, so I didn't get a chance to show it, but I just got it. And let me tell you something. I have used Galaxy Watch Active 2. I have used the OnePlus Watch for a small period of time. Didn't use it for a long time because a friend only lent it to me for a little bit. I've seen Fossil. I have tried Fitbit. I have tried everything. Nothing, I repeat, nothing has come close to watchOS with software, experience, interface. I'm telling you, I've used them all. The only thing that might have come close was Fossil with Wear OS, but even then, there are some hurdles they've got to go through. But with watchOS, it unlocks capabilities of the Apple Watch, but also keeping the watches fresh, no matter what generation you buy them, whether it be a Series 5, whether it be a Series 4, Series 3, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not going to focus too heavily on the watch, but I do have to ask the question. I don't really expect much from watchOS at this point because watchOS has done a tremendous job already. What would you guys like to see in watchOS 8? And I'll start with James.
Well, honestly, I can't really say what I want more out of the watch. I still have this is my Series 3 right here, so it's been a while since I've upgraded at all. I'm definitely overdue for an upgrade though. But as far as the Apple Watch goes, I personally like the way it is. I love being able to just leave my phone, just not have to worry about it, and just I kind of get what I need out of it. So I can't really think of what else I would actually want out of it. Probably just the ability to actually maybe have some actual like regular just wireless charging. I have to actually use a proprietary charging solution for it, but that's pretty much as much as I got.
I've never used an Apple Watch, so I can't really tell you.
Same here. I mean, maybe this year I might decide to jump in just because I've just been on the outside of that club for so long. And I just kind of need my own experience with it so I can actually have my own valid opinion. But yeah, I really can't give you any more input on, the current, watch OS versus any previous iteration of their software because I haven't used it before.
Okay, very fair. Galen, I said what I said because I know you've been doing Xiaomi, the Mi Watch, and I know you've had some watches on your channel. So I got to ask you, have you used the Apple Watch? What do you got to say?
I have not because the last iPhone that I like daily drove was the iPhone 5S. So I have not like had an experience with watchOS. I did say like if they come out with like a iPhone SE3, I'd probably pick that up, and then that's when I'd like probably go for the Watch SE or something. Mm-hmm. But in terms of software, it looks really clean. My girlfriend actually has an Apple Watch. Everything is really clean and limited, just so it like performs well. But like that can also be a downfall because Apple is like really limiting like the downloading of third-party applications and things that like a lot of like Wear OS lovers like go after. So
yeah, I love the third-party apps on the Android phone.
I mean, that's one thing, and that's kind of really the only thing I would ask for watchOS 8. Apple really needs to allow third-party face watchers to like make their own watch faces.
Yeah.
I get what Apple does. I get their reasoning, but they've got to open up the watch face for third parties. They
got some
have to do
They
that.
got some dope third party watchmakers out there, man.
There
I'm
are some
telling
dope
you,
ones, and
bro.
they're missing out. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do like what Apple brings to the table. I do like their watch faces, and every year they do make a big whoop. But come on now, you got to give third party a chance. So Apple, I really hope that they open it up, and I hope that they really do plan this out because I would like to see that. I really want to see some third party watch faces in the near future.
That would
That's
be
just
so
me.
big.
Right, it's
That would
great
be
because there are
so
like some
big.
really big companies that like that they're dedicated to that. So I think Apple should definitely like partner with them. Like Facer, Facer is
Mhm.
such a good app for
Absolutely.
That would cause a problem for pretty much all of the Android watch phone, all the Android watches.
For
If
sure.
if Apple just said, okay, we're partnering with Face, that ends. I mean, a lot of the conflictions that people would have versus an Android watch over an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I get where you're coming from, and I don't think you're wrong. So we'll see. We will wait.
And
But
one
real
more,
quickly, what's
one
up?
more thing. I think it would be really cool if they had like a traditional style watch.
Yes,
That would
agreed.
be cool, like a round dial. That would be perfect. That's it. That's all I have to say.
I wish they had that. I won't lie to you. I would wish for that. But real quick, before we get to the Mac, I want to just brush up on these last two softwares. tvOS. Now, I don't know anybody here that's excited for tvOS. I'm not, but I will not lie to you. I am probably going to buy an Apple TV because I do like the refresh. And honestly, my Fire Stick, is behind in terms of app support. Apple is just really good with getting TV apps onto their platform. So that's probably one of the reasons why I'm switching. But real quickly, what do you guys, if you ever use Apple TV, what are you looking forward to, or what would you like to see in tvOS? And we'll make this one real quick. Anybody can go.
Okay, so I actually did like a lot of research on that actually because I just got rid of my girlfriend's old Apple TV or whatever it's called because I strictly use like Google TVs. I have Android TV on one TV and I have Google's new Chromecast on the other. And they're both great devices. I definitely I know Apple won't, but third-party apps again, I think that would be great for them, but they just don't allow it. And then let's see it. And I did see the processor on that thing. It's gonna fly. That's gonna be a fast TV. Like in terms of Wi-Fi connectivity and actual performance, they're using like the same chip that I think was in the iPhone 10 on a TV. That's gonna be crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's the iPhone 11, the 11 Pro. That's the
Okay.
A12 Bionic. Yeah, they're using that.
That's crazy.
That's absolutely crazy.
Because my
So I
Samsung
think it
TV
will-
is slow as dog spit. So,
Yeah, that's the one thing with Apple TV. They build it like a computer, so I got to give them credit with that. I do like tvOS. The only reason I switched to a Fire Stick was because I liked Amazon's, but then I noticed that their library was very, very limited, and Apple's just was miles better. And I also like their interface a little bit, so that's kind of one of the reasons why I would be switching back to tvOS for the app support.
yeah, that interface is actually really nice. I've tested that interface before. It's actually a really nice and clean interface.
It's good. James, what do you think?
Honestly, I'm not. When it comes to the Apple TV, I personally just not a big fan of it. I don't really use it or even tvOS. Honestly, I kind of go back to using either my Fire Stick or even actually my Roku. I actually even use. So this is kind of an area of Apple that I really don't use a lot, if any at all.
Okay, that's fair. Alpha, what about you?
Same with me. I've never owned an Apple TV, but back in my Spectrum days, I mean, we had to be trained to kind of be a little bit familiar with the OS a little bit, and that's been at least 3 years since I've been been employed with Spectrum. But for the most part, I guess one of the benefits to like the Apple TV device itself is, you could basically use I guess it's one of the main ways to like mirror your iPhone to your TV. So if you have, if you're playing some content that you want to share to your TV, that's a good way to do it. But outside of that, for me, I haven't really had much of a purpose, as I kind of just have a Roku TV and I just kind of use that Roku platform for all my streaming services for the most part.
Okay, fair enough. And I will say though that they did allow AirPlay onto Roku TVs, smart TVs, Samsung TVs. So they did bring AirPlay over, but not to the extent like with the Apple TV. So that's one thing where they did limit it, but they did bring AirPlay. So that's a good thing. Bobby, good to see you. It's good to see all my live people. I feel bad I didn't acknowledge any of you guys. I apologize. And James, I see that you actually have to head out.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you staying longer when you wrote that message. I'm sorry I didn't see you sooner, but listen, it was great to have you tonight, my friend. It was great to have you as always. And I really hope we can do this again, and I will get you on a longer show. Thank you for coming in.
Definitely. I'll definitely be able to stay longer next time. I promise. All right, you
You
guys
got
take
it.
care.
Take care.
Peace.
All right.
Again, guys, that is Blue Eyed Tech. He is a long-term member of the Technoid channel. This is his channel right here, Blue Eyed Tech. Please check him out. Great friend, great collaborator, and honestly, he's one of the nicest people you're going to meet on the platform. All these guys are. They're all nice people. So it's always good to have good people as your content creators. That's my thing.
Absolutely.
All right, next thing, real quick, we're going to brush up on it. HomePod OS. Now, I'm just going to say this. The original HomePod is gone. We're not seeing that getting anything. So HomePod OS, oh, sorry, that's iPod. HomePod OS is dead. The HomePod itself for this one is done. It will get supported. It will get some features, but it's not going to be made around this. Instead, Apple is building around the Mini. So now we have an idea to get it to see, is Apple going to bring what to the HomePod Mini? Now, there have been rumors of high fidelity or hi-fi music coming soon with Apple Music. There's some rumors speculating. But here's my thing with that. If they're going to make high fidelity or hi-fi audio, why the hell did you cancel this one? This thing is clearly built to handle it because, first of all, it's got an array beamforming setup with a down-firing woofer which can handle the high-quality bass end. And also, you've got 7 tweeters that are beamformed that support Dolby Atmos. So
What?
if any speaker that Apple made was supported, it was this one. But guess what? They canceled the HomePod. Well, they kind of didn't cancel it. They're still selling it, but it's just until they run out of inventory, which it doesn't seem like they're running out anytime soon. So HomePod, that was a missed out opportunity for the high fidelity. But with the Mini, what do you see them bringing? Now, this is, again, real quick. Don't want to waste too much time on it. What do you see them bringing to the Mini?
Does Siri work on that?
Of course.
Okay. I don't know what else they would need to be doing then. Because that don't look like it can handle high fidelity.
No, it would not. It's not going to handle high fidelity. Definitely not.
Yeah, it would only get better as Siri gets better, in my opinion. That's just me. But I heard the sound quality on those were like really good.
Yeah, sound quality is not a problem. That's the one thing I like about Apple's HomePods is they both the HomePod and the HomePod Mini, they, to me, are some great sounding products. But, of course, the Assistant has to really be up there. But one thing I will say, real quick, I hope, I really, really hope that they, go back to the original HomePod or take inspiration from the original and try to keep that setup going. Because I feel
that
like
thing looks intense.
Like, honestly, even though it was overpriced and it definitely was in the wrong market scale, to be fair, it had a really good setup. It had good intentions. If this had came out in 2014, I'd be like, okay. But more people prefer Assistant over sound. So, I don't know. But I wouldn't want to see this setup go to waste. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now we get to the main attraction of WWDC, or at least for some people, Mac OS. Now, every year, Apple has called these names and called them this and that. And, well, I don't know what they're going to call Mac OS. I gave up caring at this point because, hell, they could call it Mac OS, let's say, what's something in California? Santa Clarita. Or Mac OS, I don't know. Who knows?
Big Hollywood.
Big Hollywood. There you go. Or Mac OS 3P.
Baby.
Baby. Yeah. There we go. See, we got better names than what Apple's coming up with.
Definitely.
But this one is important because, like I said at the beginning of the episode, This one is going to be the first software. Well, technically the first like new software. The first one was Big Sur. Big Sur was based off, but this will be their first year cycle one, where now the M1 series are going to be aged. So we're going to see how they handle with a new OS. Now, obviously, if you know anything about Apple, you don't have to worry that far. But it's interesting to see because now the M series have been out on the market for some time. We're going to see that they have an age to them. So we're going to see how they handle with a new OS. So I'm going to start with Silva. Or anyone here have a MacBook? Anybody here use a MacBook?
Mm-mm.
Nope.
I
I've used
do.
MacBooks. I've used MacBooks, but I don't own one.
Use a MacBook. What about you, Alf?
I do. I personally own it's an older model. I've got a MacBook Pro from like late 2012. And then I've also, I mean, that one right now, I guess, is pretty much end of life as far as
Those are the sturdy ones, though.
I mean, they've got all the ports that you need. You know what I'm saying?
They
You know,
work.
but yeah, that's what I use. It's been a while. I mean, I primarily use my Windows 10 desktop, but when I do want to like render some videos and things like that and get practice with Final Cut Pro, that's when I use that. I also have a work laptop that is they recently, I'm surprised they didn't get me an M1, but they got me one of the newer model MacBook Pros.
Okay.
That had just like the 2 USB-C ports, and that was it.
Oh man, they did you dirty.
Come on, son.
Hey,
Come
it's
on.
their money, not mine. So
That's true. So I guess we'll end here with Mac OS, and then we'll end the show after we finish talking about Mac OS because we spent an hour, and I think we talked a lot about everything that Apple has to offer. So I'm going to start with you, Alpha, because you and me are probably the two that do use a Mac more or have used a Mac. I mean, probably more frequently. So my question to you is, knowing what Apple has done with the M series chips, but also knowing that they've revamped Mac OS, they kind of redesigned Mac OS from the ground up, from Big Sur to fit the M series chips. How do you feel they're going to approach Mac OS whatever? Because they went from Mac OS 10 to 11. So will it be 11.1? So or 11.2? Because the way it's going right now, they're going in the way of, Apple's iOS updates. Instead of going with 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, they're now doing 11, maybe 12. Who knows? We don't know how Apple's going to do that because, with the Steve Jobs era, it was Mac OS 10.1 or 10.16 or whatever.
yeah,
So how do you think they're going to approach this?
probably like you said, it's probably going to be like a full, software update. Like it's going to be like probably Mac OS 12 or whatever. But like you said, the most interesting thing is that they've introduced the M1 chip into their mainline computers as well as their tablets, their iPads. So I'm kind of wondering where, as far as app support, that's gonna be my biggest question. Like, are they going to be allowing you to use like some of your mobile apps, and also as far as like when you're talking about enterprise now, that might be a big step because now you might not need to have. This might, I'm not sure how far this may resonate with everybody else, especially all the viewers, but I don't know how far they're going to take this as far as enterprise, because this may allow you to be able to use your actual MacBook without having to put your MacBook on the company domain. You can actually just have it on this application called AirWatch, which is basically a remote secure application that, it'll install your email profiles and basically keep all your work stuff confidential on your MacBook.
And
So
is that a feature right now that MacBooks do not have?
So that's what I'm kind of wondering is like, how far are they going to go with this? Seeing that, you've got an ARM device now. So I'm curious to see where the support goes. That's what I'll be looking to see from WWDC.
Yeah, there's some. I know some apps are actually supported on the M1s that came out late last year. The laptops, and Mac Mini as well. I know some mobile apps are supported on those. I'm not sure which ones though. And I believe you can like choose for like things like Instagram. You could choose like a desktop version or the mobile version and things like that.
Cool.
Silva?
Um, pretty much. I've always thought that out of the Apple products, that the MacBook and the iPad were some of the best products that Apple produced. And I always thought that the OS on the MacBook Pro was always, always a flawless experience in my personal opinion. So when it comes to WWDC, I think, I'm not quite sure in my personal opinion what I would want to see from them as regards to like what they were adding to the software. Because I think the software works pretty flawless as it is right now, as far as it goes on the MacBook Pro. But I'm very curious when Alpha was mentioning the enterprise features, because I
Yeah.
was not aware that that's something that Apple MacBook laptops did not have already. I thought that that's something that they already had, the access to like remote features and stuff like that. I didn't know that was something that they didn't operate with.
Mm.
I knew about that, but I never really focused on it on like a personal level.
Mhm.
But I'm always glad when people do bring that stuff up because it's a different perspective. For me, though, I think the one thing I'm going to be looking at is really just when it comes down to is the support because these Macs, for a while have been 64-bit. Now they're on an ARM, setup. Now, of course, it probably will be 64-bit ARM, but with Intel processors still looming in MacBooks, and Apple's got to support these Macs. It raises the question: are they going to either? I don't think they'll self sabotage the software, but I don't think they're going to optimize it for Intel CPUs. Obviously, they're going to focus on their stuff, and they're going to leave customers to kind of suffer, and that's a shame, you know.
That's kind of going to be a lot of SOL type of situations with people with older MacBooks. That's actually a huge concern, right? I would be even more concerned if I had like a 2012 to 2016 MacBook with an Intel chip, and they're announcing the software updates and integrating the A1 chips. My concern is updates on my laptop that has an Intel chip, because knowing Apple does things with the updates, and all of a sudden the computer's not running the way it is, and then now you got to go out and buy a new MacBook, because now they're not even sending updates to your Intel computer properly, and now the updates that come to the Intel computer are, causing the computer to operate optimally. So
Mm-hmm.
that's actually kind of a huge concern that I would see for people who have Intel MacBooks still. Maybe I
That's
would even be more interested, out of everything that they say during WWDC, to make a point to address that elephant in the room instead of just glossing over it like it's a non-issue.
very, very good point. I like that. I do like that point. Alrighty, now last thing, and then to end the show, we are almost done, guys. This is the last question, and I'm going to start with Galen, then Alpha, Siova, and then we'll end it with me. But final question of the night, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all of you watching, thank you for hounding it. We appreciate you if you made it this far. But the final question of the night is simple. What software is on your radar list out of everything that we've talked about tonight? iPad OS, iOS, Mac OS, tvOS, everything. What software has you a little bit more excited than the others? And Galen, you could go first.
Easily iPad OS because that's like the only Apple product I'd go with currently.
Okay. Alpha?
I would say the same. I mean, I would say the same, but I don't have any M1 devices because the M1 chip is what's really intriguing me right now. But my iPad that I use, uh, ashamedly, is still the iPad Mini from 2015. But I mean, surprisingly, Apple still supported it up to this far with iOS 14, even though it's not, as robust as it is on the newer iPads. But they still have, supported it in somewhat shape or form. But I guess based on what I actually do have, I've still got the iPhone 12 Pro. So I'm kind of interested to see what they do with the iOS 15.
Okay. Siola?
I'm with Alpha. The only Apple product that I would actually consider getting at this point is probably an iPhone. And I'm curious to see what they bring to iOS 15 to see if there's anything that would convince me to get an iPhone. So
Fair
whatever they got going on for iOS 15, I'm gonna keep my ears to the ground and keep my eyes on the screen and see what it is. See if that might be the time this year that I finally get an iPhone and and play with iOS. We'll see.
We shall see. For me, this is my final thoughts. I never really cared for WWDC until recently. I really enjoyed the software and I just enjoy what they bring. I own every Apple product they've ever made. Apple TV, HomePod, Apple Watch, iPhone, iPad, Mac. I'm locked in. So I got everything lined up. However, though, the one that I'm the most interested for is obviously iPad OS. I think that's my go-to. Now, the Mac OS I'm not worried about because Mac OS is always proven to be a reliable desktop server. But for me, the iPad OS experience has been okay, but I do wish for a little bit more of a oof there. And I kind of hope that they bring a lot more features and a lot more bang for the dollar, especially with iPad OS. So I'm kind of interested to see where they go there. iOS 15, again, only thing I'm excited for is if they match the skeuomorphism design of macOS Big Sur. And that's really about it for me. That's my final thoughts.
There it goes right there.
That's the way we roll, baby. And with that said, boys and girls, we are officially wrapped up for the night. So listen, guys, before we end the live stream, we got to take this moment to thank each of our guests tonight. Now, again, these are some very familiar faces. If you want to come on the Technoid live stream, if you are looking to grow your audience or also just be a part of the Tech Talk, you're more than welcome to come on. But let's start it up with Silva, the technician, a.k.a. the DJ out of Queens. My man.
Man, come on,
Bronx, Queens. I don't care, my man. I'm labeling you Queens. That's my label to you. Baby. But we always appreciate you bringing it in with the heat, the effects, which I really do love the effects. You got to teach me some of those. So
hit me in the DMs, man.
Of course, my brother. I'll hit you up. So thank you for coming on. I will hope to see you again. Galen, our collaboration with the Liberty Air 2 Pros was a great video, and having you back tonight has proven why I love interacting with you. You are a phenomenal YouTuber on your own. You do some great products. You have some great reviews, and I really encourage everyone to check out your channel. Thank you for coming in as well.
No problem, man. Anytime.
And lastly, but not least, Alpha. And Alpha, let me just say this, man. You are one of the founding fathers of the Technoid channel. There would be no live episode, no nothing if it weren't for our live streams when we talked about the Roku streaming TV and then other things and, really kind of paving the way. So we got to give respect to the OG of this channel who are kind of important pieces. So I want to thank you. You all are important pieces to the channel. But when it comes to the OG, the Godfather, that's the Godfather sitting right there, Alpha.
I guess maybe one day I'll be on Blue Eyed Tech's status.
Don't worry. You and Blue Eyed are. You guys are. You guys have always been there since the beginning, and I appreciate every one of you for that have come on during this journey. Guys, we are so close to 3,000 subs. We are at 2.7K. And I don't care how long it takes. We are going to hit 3K, hopefully before this end of the summer. But listen, guys, we got plenty of time for that. Anyway, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the live stream, make sure you hit the like button, share the video out. Make sure you get some Rogue Energy. Use promo code Technoid. Again, check out all three of these content creators. I will leave a link to their channels at the end of the video. You can find it in the comment section. Again, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you all again on the next episode. Have a great rest of your day. And peace.